Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is July 11th, 2024. The time right now is 7:36 p.m. Central Daylight Time. This broadcast is intended for every member and intended to reach every member of the United States Congress, the United States Senate, the House Armed Services Committee, both Democrats and Republicans, the President of the United States, the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of the Navy, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, and the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. Primarily, the United States Congress, the United States Senate, the House Armed Services Committee, both Democrat and Republicans, and the President of the United States. Yesterday, Wednesday, July 10th, 2024, after I reported in to Major Kirk, the adjutant or legal officer at MATSG-21, just at 1300 or 1 p.m. in the afternoon, as directed and ordered, I was instructed to sit in the command conference room again, and I sat there for 1 hour. As I was sitting there, the command chaplain happened to pass by the conference room, and then he circled back around and came in and had a seat and talked with me. Throughout the conversation, the chaplain told me that he knew a little bit more on Wednesday than he did on Tuesday. And the chaplain had mentioned that it has to do with something that happened about 6 years ago. And the chaplain wanted to see if I would not, he wanted me to open up about it, and I declined to do so. I let him know that I just could not talk about it. I can't deny, I cannot confirm or deny what it was he found out or whatever he was told. However, I can't talk about it, and I'm doing fine. A little better than the day before. The chaplain continued to talk to me, and after sitting there for an hour, the Sergeant Major Alvarez came and got me from the conference room and escorted me into the secretary's hut, or the space of the secretary, where I was directed to again place my cell phones on the secretary's desk, as well as my Apple Watch, as there is no recording inside of Colonel Brunk's office. And then after I placed my items down, and then proceeded in Colonel Brunk's office to report to him. There was no one on the phone that I was aware of, and there was no one on the phone throughout the duration of what I'm about to reveal to you all. I do apologize if I'm gonna close my eyes or have to look away. What happened yesterday, what happened on Wednesday, July 10th, was horrifying. It was traumatizing. It was intimidating. It was demeaning. It was horrible. Horrible. So I proceeded to report in to Colonel Brunk, And he just directed me to have a seat. And so I sat down. And after his office door was shut, he immediately stood up and just gave the command, "All right, school circle around the table." Okay. I was like, "All right, sir." Okay. So I got up and I went to sit down at the table. I asked Sergeant Major where he wanted me to sit. And so I had a seat at the table. I'm sorry. If you see me yawning excessively, if you see my eyes getting watery excessively, if you see my body shaking excessively, or me starting to breathe a lot heavier, that's what happens when traumatic things happen. Like what happened yesterday. So I proceeded to sit down, and it was myself, Colonel Brunk, Sergeant Major Alvarez, and the chaplain. I sat, for example, on one side of the table. Colonel Brunk sat directly in front of me. To my left, you're going to see my hand, however you're looking at this video, but Colonel Brunk sat in front of me. To my left, Sergeant Major Alvarez sat, and to my right, the chaplain sat. Colonel Brunk proceeded. Colonel Brunk asked me if I knew why I was there. And I told Colonel Brunk, "No, sir. I don't know why I was called in today. I don't know, what this meeting is regarding." And Colonel Brunk proceeded to say, "It's about your social media post on the evening of Wednesday, July 10th. Wait. Was it July 10th? When July 10th? No, Tuesday, July 9th. I'm posting this video a whole day later, and you'll understand why and where my mind is at. I'm good, okay? I just want to make sure that I have my dates correct. So give me a second. Okay, so today is Thursday, July 11th. Yesterday was Wednesday, July 10th. So the evening of Tuesday, July 9th, I made a social media post. I know I did because I made it. That was titled "Marine Fighting for His Life." If you go to my YouTube page, if you go to my Facebook page, or if you go to my TikTok page, you'll see. It says I made the post about a day ago. The title of it is "Marine Fighting for His Life." 3 red exclamation points on the left, 3 red exclamation points on the right. Below that is 3 asterisks with the words following, "For the United States Congress." For the United States Congress. Not MATSG-21. Not Training Command. Not Marine Corps Detachment, Naval School Explosive Ordnance Disposal, Niceville, Florida, or Eglin Air Force Base. Not the Commandant of the Marine Corps. Not the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. The United States Congress. My post read as follows: "How much does a service member of the Armed Forces of the United States of America have to go through for, quote, leaders, end quote, to do the right thing? All they have done is attempt to suppress me, my voice, my rights." This is a misspelling. "By needs," I meant my needs, "my morale, my welfare, my health, my security, and now my freedom. I am sick to my core and stomach at how far U.S. Marines will go to issue unlawful orders, both verbal and written. Please read for yourself. I cannot make this up. Now they are itching at everything they can find and do to charge me with a violation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, or UCMJ, as grounds for administrative separation. I'm going to read that last sentence again. And the only reason why I'm reading this last sentence again is because there should have been a pause as not like a run-on sentence. So last sentence reads, now they're itching at everything they can find and do to charge me with a violation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, or UCMJ, as grounds for administrative separation. Nowhere in that post did it say, and nowhere in the text message screenshots does it say that I, Staff Sergeant Nicholas Smith, am going to commit suicide. Nowhere in the text messages or my entire post does it say I'm looking to harm myself. And nowhere does it say in the text messages or the screenshots or my entire post where it say I'm going to harm somebody else. So, Colonel Brunk asked me if I knew I was here today. I let him know, no, sir, I don't. And he said that it was about my Facebook post. And specifically, Marine fighting for his life. That makes me concerned about you. I'm concerned about your safety and your well-being. I'm not sure if you're going to hurt yourself or someone else. Do you intend to harm yourself or anyone else? No, sir. I don't plan. I don't want to. I don't need to. I don't have any thoughts of self-sabotage or self-harm to myself or anyone else. So, and I'm trying to understand why is it and how is it that they believe my safety is at risk when I clearly explained in the post the details. If you put the post, if you put how much does all the way down to administrative separation and the entire text messages, where anywhere in there can someone get that I want to harm myself? I don't, maybe it's just me, but I wrote it. I don't know how they perceive that. I don't know how they came to that conclusion. Okay. And so I'm trying to understand what is going on here. And when Colonel Brunk came to that conclusion, I already knew where this was going to go. I just hope it didn't, because, and I prayed it didn't, because I don't see how they can come to that conclusion. They disregarded everything else in the post and they just focused on the first line, Marine fighting for his life. Okay. As I try to remember everything yesterday, there may be places where I backtrack, just in case I remember something that I may have forgotten. This is insane. I cannot believe what happened yesterday. I just cannot. That they would do this to one of their own. And how much does a service member have to go through for them to do the right thing? And they've never done the right thing throughout the entire course of what's going on. And so as I'm sitting at the table, hearing this from Colonel Brunk, how much do I got to... Okay, I will try to stick to not how I'm feeling right now. I will try to stick to the transcript of what happened and took place yesterday. So Colonel Brunk, let me know that that's why I was in there, and he was concerned about my safety, my well-being. I can just go over the important parts. And as I'm listening to Colonel Brunk, it's not making sense to me in logic, but it's making sense as far as what they're trying to do. So I reassured Colonel Brunk, I'm not looking, I don't want to do anything to myself or anyone else in any way, shape, or form. I believe the chaplain had kind of chimed in and let me know about confidentiality and things like that. And, he tried to make me feel comfortable or at peace, or just try to maintain my composure. And I was fine. And so when the chaplain started to talk to me, I sat in a little bit more of a relaxed state. I kind of tilted to my right, and I just crossed my legs, and I just put my hands on my lap, and I'm listening to the chaplain. And I do this every day. I already cracked my knuckles. See, they won't crack now, but I started cracking my knuckles in like normal. I do that all the time. Even when I'm at home. And Sergeant Major Alvarez is like, "Oh, you okay? What's going on there?" And I'm like, "It's fine, Sergeant Major. I'm just cracking my knuckles. It's normal. I do this every day. I do it at home. There's nothing wrong. I do it all the time. It's just a natural habit for me." And Sergeant Major continued, "Oh, are you okay? Are you sure? Like, you're not trying to do nothing, are you?" And I was like, "No, Sergeant Major, I'm fine." And he said, okay. All right. Then I turned my attention back to the chaplain. And there's just a lot of conversations, like going from Colonel Brunk to Sergeant Major to the chaplain, from Colonel Brunk to Sergeant Major, then Colonel Brunk, then the chaplain. And so I asked, based off of what I was hearing at the time, I wish I could remember. When did Colonel Brunk say what he said? Okay, he said it after this. Okay, so then chaplain is talking to me. And I asked the chaplain, "Sir, do you mind if I ask you a question? It's regarding a conversation that you and I had earlier, and I just wanted to know if it's okay if I ask you about a conversation that we had." And he said, "Yeah, no problem." So I asked him, "Sir, earlier when you and I were in the conference room, you mentioned that you knew a little bit more today than you did yesterday. You also mentioned that something happened about 6 years ago. I never mentioned anything to you about what might have happened 6 years ago. How'd you find that out, sir?" And the chaplain was leaning forward into my question, and then he sat back in his chair, leaned back, and was just like, some explanation. And then Colonel Brunk interrupted the chaplain and said this. This is Colonel Brunk talking. "Oh, I told him." So I look at the chaplain, I look at Colonel Brunk, and I look at Sergeant Major Alvarez. And I look back at Colonel Brunk. And then I look at Chaplain. And I'm like, so you just lied to me, sir? Colonel Brunk, this is why I don't trust the word y'all say. Because y'all have been telling me since I've been meeting with you all. Even Lieutenant Colonel Martinez and Master Gunner Sergeant Shookhart and First Sergeant Flores and Sergeant Major Alvarez and Colonel Brunk and Major Kirk and the chaplain. Y'all have told me y'all don't even know what happened. Y'all don't know anything about anything that's going on with me. Y'all told me that y'all don't know why I'm trying to request MAST. You said that y'all don't know why I'm meeting, why, what's going on at all. You told me that y'all see this is just out of the blue. I'm just trying to request MAST out of the blue, and you didn't know anything. And then, sir, you just told me that, and I'm calm. And then, sir, you just told me I'm not yelling at nobody. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just being straightforward. They want to be straight shooters. I'm gonna be a straight shooter. So y'all straight up lied to me, intentionally lied to me. How did you find out, sir? Asking Colonel Brunk, how did you find out about what might have happened 6 years ago? And he said something like, I just heard it, or your posts. And I'm like, no, you didn't. And Colonel, I'm gonna say this for the record. Colonel Brunk told me that he has someone sitting there looking and micromanaging, and someone sitting there scouring my social media page over everything that I post. That they have someone assigned looking at all of my posts. Hey, it's a public post. I got no problem with it. I don't care who sees it. I know that it's intended for the United States Congress. That's what I do know. And you're using a social media post that I did not post for you. I posted it for the members of Congress, the United States Senate. So you're taking something that wasn't even meant for you and trying to make it into something? I didn't say that part. But that's the only logic that I can think. This shouldn't even be happening, but it happened. So, and then Sergeant Major's over there. It's like he's getting happy, but he's calm. He's listening to everything and seeing all Sergeant Major is doing is being a scribe. Sergeant Major has no job but try to keep the peace. That's all Sergeant Major did. But he didn't just keep the peace. He's adding fuel to their fire. That's all he's doing. He's taking notes. He's not getting engaged. He will ask questions and he'll take notes. That's all his job was. It's Colonel Brunk's job to try to press me. It's the chaplain's job to try to manipulate me. And it's Sergeant Major Alvarez's job to try to piece it all together and fit their narrative. And this is how the rest of it goes. Colonel Brunk then says, ask me again, are you looking to hurt yourself or anyone else? I said, no, sir. I just answered your question. And the same way how I just told you all, how I said it to him is how I said it to him. Sergeant Major Alvarez, he has to be getting a kick out of what he's watching. Not from everybody else, but from me. And Sergeant Major Alvarez is like, well, Staff Sergeant Smith, I can't even remember what Sergeant Major Alvarez said. But all Sergeant Major Alvarez is doing, he's taking what I'm saying and he's trying to pick it apart and take notes and make a determination on what I'm about to say right now. And I continued with Colonel Brunk and the chaplain about, this is why I don't trust anything y'all say, because y'all just continue to lie to me. And sir, I just answered your question about what if I'm looking to hurt or harm myself. I told you no. In my post, it's self-explanatory. It's for Congress, and plus there's nothing in there that says, it says Marine fighting for his life. It says that because that's exactly what I'm doing here at this table right now. I'm fighting for my life from what y'all are doing to me and what you've done to me. Look at what y'all are doing. And then Colonel Brunk says this. He stands up. He walks over to his desk. He grabs a few papers. One of them was the Department of Defense instruction. He didn't say the DOD number, but it was a Department of Defense instruction in regards to command-directed evaluation, a CDE, for mental health, a command-directed mental health evaluation. And my body just locked up. My body was getting hot. My peripheral vision just went dark and white. And I could not believe what they were doing. The sad part is that I knew they were going to do it. I just wish they had not have done it, because there was no grounds or reason to do it. Because the post is not meant for them. The post reads Marine fighting for his life for the United States Congress. How much does a service member of the armed forces have to go through for leaders to do the right thing? Obviously, in that first sentence, that means the armed forces, specifically the Marine Corps, is doing the wrong thing. And because they're doing the wrong thing, I'm suffering for that. My mom is suffering for that. My daughter is suffering for that. My daughter's mom is suffering for that. My godmom is suffering. My goddad is suffering. My sisters are suffering. My brothers are suffering. I don't even talk to them no more. My nephew is suffering. I don't even talk to them no more. My friends in the neighborhood have suffered. I don't even talk to them anymore. Relationships have been lost. Marriages have been lost. So yes, I'm hurting. Yes, I'm fighting for my life. Because what y'all are doing to me is like I have no life left. So yes, I'm fighting for my life. Trying to save myself from what I'm about to tell y'all next. Colonel Brunk, I'm actually going to try to look up the DOD instruction just so that I can read from it. All right, so the reference is Department of Defense Instruction, or DODI, also said as DODI. We got DODI 6490.04, signed into effect on March 4th, 2013. Paragraph 3 Delta reads the following. A commander or supervisor will refer a service member for an emergency mental health assessment, or MHE, as soon as is practicable whenever 1. A service member, by actions or words such as actual, attempted, or threatened violence, intends or is likely to cause serious injury to him or herself or others. Colonel Brunk read that first one and he looked up at me. He put his head back down and continued reading. The second one, when the facts and circumstances indicate that the service member's intent to cause such injury is likely. He looked back up at me and looked back down and read the third one. When the commanding officer believes that the service member may be suffering from a mental health disorder. Colonel Brunk looked up at me, looked back at the paper, and was reading, and he said this. It looks like you have a borderline bipolar disorder. So Colonel Brunk's telling me that I have a borderline bipolar disorder. I could not believe it, because them calling me in there, it all just made sense. I haven't done anything. They called me in there about a social media post, Marine Fighting for His Life, which has the narrative and everything there. That doesn't indicate anything up under the paragraph delta that I just read. How am I acting? I'm catching you all in your lies. You're upset that I'm catching you all in your lies, and I'm calling you out on it. Respectfully, I asked you if I could ask you a question, and you said yes, sir. So guess what? I'm going to ask you the question. And if you feel insulted by it, so be it. I asked you in a calm and nice manner, respectable manner. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't upset. I wasn't irritated. I was respectful. I was calm, cool, and collective. And I just asked the question, just like I asked Lieutenant Colonel Martinez, why? And I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. How are you gonna, Colonel? It's happening so fast in my mind. What? And at this moment, I'm just respectfully trying to plead and make a point with Colonel Brunk. Sir, you just asked me if I have intent or if I intend to harm myself or anyone else. I answered your question. I said no. I answered your question. Sergeant Major Alvarez then chimes in. Well, Staff Sergeant, I asked you, yes or no questions a few days before, but, you couldn't give me a straight answer. So the answer that you're giving now doesn't mean anything. I looked at Sergeant Major Alvarez. He started talking. I looked at the chaplain. And I'm like, sir, Colonel Brunk asked me a straightforward question, asked me a question. I answered his question. He asked me if I was willing to harm or hurt myself or anybody else. I said no. Am I making sense, sir? And I looked back at Colonel Brunk. Sir, I answered your question. Sergeant Major Alvarez chimes back in. You see, Staff Sergeant Smith, I was just, talking with you, and you just blatantly turned to the chaplain and started talking to him. And that's, why we intend to do a command-directed mental health evaluation. And I'm sitting there like, why? I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm not. I understood what was going on. And then Colonel Brunk asked me, because I had to go pick up my daughter. So I already let them know that even before I stepped foot in the office, I notified Lieutenant Colonel Raitiki, which is the outgoing executive officer, that I needed to depart by 2:30 in the 2:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time, so that I could go pick up my daughter, because I needed to go pick her up. There was like an hour and a half drive to pick her up from Pensacola. I was in Pensacola. I had to drive back to Eglin Air Force Base. That's an hour and a half drive. And then we have to drive from Eglin Air Force Base to Crestview because we have gymnastics. I understand what their goal is. I'm trying to go get my daughter so that we can... I don't have to explain that. I gotta go pick up my daughter. And Colonel Brunk asks me, who asked me this? Sergeant Major Alvarez asked me this. Same demeanor by him the whole time. No care for what he knows, what they know they're doing to me and about to do to me. He asked me, is my family care plan up to date? He asked me if there's someone there to take care of my mom in my house. And I yes, Sergeant Major, my family care plan is up to date. My daughter's mom can care for my daughter, and my mom is at my house. And Colonel Brunk asked Sergeant Major, "Hey, Sergeant Major, do you think it's fair to say that Staff Sergeant Smith is mentally unstable, with possible borderline bipolar disorder? And do you think we should do a command-directed mental health evaluation?" Sergeant Major said, "Sir, I would like to hold off on that, but I believe we should go out and continue." At that time, everybody stood up from the table. The chaplain kind of walked me out. I picked up my cell phones. I put them in my back pocket. I put on my watch, and the chaplain and I were headed in the direction of the conference room entrance, but we didn't go in. And chaplain touched my right shoulder and came to my ear and said, "I appreciate you answering the questions in there." That what the chaplain just told me, I didn't care. And so at that moment, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Before I say this, this broadcast is intended for every member of the United States Congress, the United States Senate, the House Armed Services Committee, both Democrats and Republican, the President of the United States, the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of the Navy, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, and Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. I have received a direct promise by Colonel Brunk, Sergeant Major Alvarez, Major Kirk, Lieutenant Colonel Martinez, and Master Gunner Sergeant Shookhart, that nothing will happen to me after what I'm about to tell everybody. And before I forget, Colonel Brunk also mentioned. Colonel Brunk told me that I was lying to them. Colonel Brunk told me that I just had a pop-up medical appointment that I didn't tell him, Colonel Brunk, about. Colonel Brunk said he asked me what all appointments I had, and I failed to provide an appointment for a specific date and time. And by failure to do so, I disobeyed a direct order. But he's not going to charge me with that. He's not going to give me a 6105. He's not going to NJP me. He's just going to let that go. Colonel Brunk also said that I am making false statements, false official statement, in that they, meaning the Marine Corps, is attempting to suppress me, my voice, my rights, by needs, which I meant my needs, my morale, welfare, health, security, and now my freedom. Colonel Brunk saying that I'm lying there. No, I'm not. And because I made, quote, a false official statement, unquote, as said by Colonel Brunk, he can charge me with that. But he's not going to do that. This is what he said. Colonel Brunk said he's not going to do that. So they're giving me a pass. They're trying to help. This is what he said. We're trying to help you, but you're not telling us how to help you. And this was my response. Sir, may I speak freely? He said, yes. And I said, the Facebook post that you're referring to does not indicate anything that I'm looking to harm myself or anyone else. And you asked me if I was looking to harm myself or anyone else, and I clearly answered you no. And Colonel Brunk also said that referenced email. Colonel Brunk also referenced a supposed email that was sent to the Commandant of the Marine Corps. Colonel Brunk said that I sent the email to the Commandant of the Marine Corps. I did not confirm or deny that with him. So I asked him, sir, the social media post that you're referring to and the email that you're referring to, has all of my needs in there. If you're referring to an email, or if you're referring to a supposed email, or if you're referring to a supposed social media post, if you so-called read and are aware of all of them, my needs and what I'm requesting is already in there. So why do I have to tell y'all again when I've already told you all? And he was like, oh, there's multiple emails? And I didn't confirm or deny that either. And so I'm like, I don't understand why I have to sit here and explain myself again when whatever you're referring to, I'm sure that whatever it is, if I did, just like I'm thorough now, I am always thorough. And my needs, just like I even told Lieutenant Colonel Martinez, I even told Colonel Brunk that I told Lieutenant Colonel Martinez what my needs were. And can you guess what? They still have not met my needs. They still have not fulfilled my requests. They still have not offered any help. All they've offered is exactly what y'all are doing now. And that's why I don't believe a word y'all say. So I'm at the conference room. Again, I have received the word and the promise of training command entirely. They won't provide anything in writing. But trust me, to the Secretary of Defense, to the Secretary of the Navy, to the Commandant of the Marine Corps, and the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, to the United States Congress, to the United States Senate and House Armed Services Committee, both Democrat and Republican, and to the President of the United States, respectively. Please do not take what I'm about to tell you and do the wrong thing. In the eyes of the American people, and for the safety, the health, and well-being of the total force of the armed forces of the United States of America, do not, please, do not react to what I'm about to say. I was at the conference room, and my body is so scared. I don't know how I was not on the floor having a seizure. I don't know how I don't understand how I did not go into cardiac arrest or have a panic attack. I don't understand how that was not happening. I remained calm. In my mind, should I stay or should I go? Should I stay here and let them, which they already, Colonel Brunk had already signed a letter with the command directed mental health evaluation. He had already signed that before I had even arrived there. They already knew that they were going to admit me into a psychiatric ward. They already had, Colonel Brunk said he already had a doctor on standby at Naval Air Station Pensacola to conduct a mental health evaluation on me. So no matter what I said, even though they asked me the question and I answered their question, it doesn't matter what I said or what I did. They were not going to let me leave that building. I have my daughter. I have a future. I have my mom, my family, my support system, my treatment team. I've gotten this far I've gotten this far for the past 6 years, going on 7, because of how far God has brought me. I have not come this far for them to do this. They haven't done anything to help me. Nothing. The Marine Corps has never offered me the services of a chaplain over the past 6.5 to 7 years. Never. And just for the chaplain to meet me on Tuesday is absurd. Respectfully. Why? Because they watched my social media post and they watched my video, and towards the end, I shared a message to any survivors that might be out there, that might be going through something. And I talked about God and I talked about Jesus. And they took that and tried to find a way in to personally relate to me in hopes that I would open up to them. And they failed. So, I'm trying to get my mind back here. I have to live for. And they orchestrated the chaplain. They orchestrated me to get in there. That's why they didn't tell me what they were calling me there for. Lieutenant Colonel Martinez told me he didn't know. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So, to have a mental health evaluation conducted on me by way of their facilitation, only for the whoever they had stand by to say that I'm unfit, to put me in a psychiatric ward. No, ma'am, and no, sir. I didn't do anything, but all I tried to do is the right thing. That's why I'm fighting for my life. Like, and that's why the post is there. How much do I have to go through? I'm fighting right now I'm fighting for my life, and I'm fighting the state of my daughter's life. I'm fighting for my future. I'm fighting for my purpose in life. And they're trying to take my freedoms away. They're trying to take everything away from me. And Colonel Brunk has the nerve to tell me, we're trying to help you. We've tried to help you, and you're not letting us. What you're making a false official statement about us trying to take your freedom away, your voice away, trying to suppress you. No, we're not. See, just like how I'm doing my stuff now is how I do every day. So, should I stay or should I go? I'm a great Marine. I'm the best Marine. That's what wanted me to stay there. But I have a life. I am a person. And I've done the right thing. And they're going to send me somewhere. And they get to dictate who comes to see me and when. And I'm not letting it happen. So, I'm looking at my watch, just slowly walking down the hall. And I come to the end of the corner, and I run. I'm running physically running for my life. I'm doing a slow jog out the building. That way don't nobody get suspicious. I come to that exit door of the building, and I foot it, like sprint as fast as my heart would allow me to sprint to my vehicle. I almost parked in the front of the building, but there were no parking spaces, so I had to turn around and go to an exterior parking lot, which was like 2-3 minute walk away. I ran as fast as I could, and it's like my body, like hitting the gas pedal in the vehicle. I couldn't go no faster. I'm about to have a panic attack while I'm running to my truck to get away from them because I didn't do anything. I could not believe it. And every footstep, every time my foot hit the ground, excruciating pain in my body. I didn't know what to think, but make it to my truck. Make it to my truck. Okay, I found they take my truck from the parking lot because I couldn't see it. Please don't take my truck. Okay, my truck's there. Freaking open my door. Hop in. Man, where's the start button? Start my truck. And my mind is just spinning. Put my truck in reverse. I couldn't even see my gear shifter. And just like I'm starting to cry now is exactly how I started to cry trying to put my truck into gear. And I put it in reverse. I freaking reverse. I put it into drive. I freaking hit it as safely as I could. I need to get off base. Please don't let them find out that I hit it, that I ran. I need to get off base. As I'm driving off base, I call my sister. She answers. Thank God. I tell my sister what's happening. I couldn't explain it fast enough. My face is in tears. My heart is pounding. I'm having an asthma attack, a panic attack, telling them what's happening. And I'm like, please call mom. Please tell mom about what's happening. Hang up. I call my ex-wife to tell her, please call. I call my ex-wife's job. I actually call my ex-wife's phone. I hang up. I call her job. The gentleman answers, and I'm still in tears, out of breath. Where's Lena? Please go get Lena. He went to get Lena. Lena's calling my phone. So, I answer Lena. Lena, please go. Please take care of Grace. Find Grace. Take care of her. This is what's going on. They're trying to do this to me. I didn't do anything. They're trying to put me in this mental evaluation. I didn't do anything. I'm she's asking me, where are you? What happened? Slow down. Stop. Listen. What's going on? Explain to me what's going on. And I'm just repeating the same thing. I don't know what's going on. They're trying to put me in this mental hospital. I didn't do anything. She gets me calmed down. I get on the I-10, and then I'm calling my advocate. I'm calling my advocate, that the another person that I can trust, and she doesn't answer. I'm all out of options. I'm looking around. When is Escambia County Sheriff's Office going to pull me over? When is a Florida State Trooper going to pull me over? I'm not looking to hurt anybody. I'm not looking to harm anybody. I even tell my ex-wife, I'm not going to do anything to myself or anyone else. But they're saying that I'm trying to do that, and I'm not. I'm I didn't do anything. And I could not make it fast enough to the Interstate 10. I'm trying to get out of Pensacola because on every corner there's those black poles with lights and cameras that reads all the license plates. And Colonel Brunk issued an unauthorized absence alert for me. And I'm like, man, I ran one red light safely. And I could not get out of there fast enough. And I'm talking to my sister, I'm talking to my mom, and they're calming me down. And then my advocate calls. So I answer my advocate call, and they talk me through. I talk to some members from church. They get me calmed down. I cannot talk about the conversations I had with my mom, my siblings, or anybody else that I trust. But I will say, I could not go back to Eglin Air Force Base. I could, because my command was calling me nonstop, texting me nonstop. Oh, we're concerned about you. Bull crap. No, you're not. You want to find out where I am, and you want to try to convince me to go get a health evaluation. I don't trust you, so no, I'm not answering your phone. I don't care how many times you call. I don't care how many times you text. I did text them though, and I was like, I'm alive and well. That's all I text them, so that they can know they don't have to worry about my safety because I'm fine. I've been fine all along, and y'all tried to do this to me. My battery is low on my phone right now, so long story short, that is everything that happened yesterday. And so the social media post that I made about please go to your congressional office as soon as possible. The U.S. Marine Corps is trying to involuntarily admit me into a mental health hospital for evaluation for no reason. I need everyone's help, please. Call Congress, call your news station, call your retired leadership. This is not right. I felt I did not have any other option. I had to run away, because if I didn't, I would not be here telling you all what happened right now. With the help of my advocate and some others, with the help of my advocate, my family, and my ex-wife, we got the promise from Colonel Brunk, Sergeant Major Alvarez, Major Kirk, Lieutenant Colonel Martinez, Master Gun Sergeant Shookhart, that they would cancel the command-directed mental health evaluation. They would cancel the unauthorized absence alert that they put out. They would stop doing everything that they've been doing. Because it's like, for once, they finally cared about me. When they found out I left, they finally cared, because they thought that I was going to go and do something to myself or someone else, even though I told them, I told the Marine Corps for the past 6 years, 6.5, 7 years, I don't need to do that. Master Gun Sergeant Shookhart knew that I wasn't going to do anything. Lieutenant Colonel Martinez knew that I was not going to do anything. Colonel Brunk, Sergeant Major Alvarez, and the chaplain and Major Kirk knew that I was not going to do anything, because I just told them. So I'm about to go over an hour right now, but that's what happened. And I'm here today because of everyone that helped, and I thank you so much.